The rich keep getting richer. Why? Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. So you hear all the time that the rich, the top 1%, are getting richer and richer. And all us plebes, us little worker bees working our 9-to-5s like little mussies, we're just getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And that's actually true. Let me tell you why the rich are getting richer. It's actually pretty simple, okay? It all comes down to stock ownership and stock market returns and stock market valuations. So if you look at the data, what makes the wealthy wealthy? What makes the rich rich? What makes the 1% the 1%? Well, they mostly invest in financial assets, or they own them. Let's say let's say you start a company, and you're a billionaire, or you become a billionaire. Well, you own a huge chunk of the company. So the total value of the company on the public market is your net worth. So the rich own a lot of stock and they own businesses. What do the poor, the plebes like me and you own? Well, most of our net worth is tied up in cars. Like this car is worth about $80,000, a Ford Fiesta. I've got a house. I've got about a $90K of equity in there. I'm sure Echoes has more. And then I have, maybe a couple $100,000 invested in stocks. And I'm actually the atypical normie. Most normies have the vast majority of their net worth in their house, which is like the worst way that you could possibly record your net worth or have your net worth in. Houses are illiquid. You can't access the money. It's garbage. But normal people don't have a lot of money in stocks. And if we look at the performance of U.S. stocks, bro, over the last decade and a half, they've crushed it, okay? Why is this happening? Well, number one, we've had low interest rates. Low interest rates are a huge benefit to corporations. Why? Because it lowers the cost of capital. They can borrow money cheaply and they can issue stock at higher valuations. When you have low interest rates, your cost of borrowing is almost nothing. A corporation can massively borrow a ton of debt, use that to finance a bunch of ventures, and basically pay no interest expense, okay? That is a positive boon to corporate profits. On top of that, people can borrow money easier and buy stuff from corporations. All of that is beneficial to the underlying profits of corporations. On top of that, our government, the United States government, has been running pretty significant deficits every year. We spend more money than we take in. And we're able to do that because people will lend us money. It's as simple as that. We can keep running deficits and growing the debt into infinity, apparently. We'll see. Because people will lend us money. They'll do it cheaply. And the government doesn't go bust. And we can always just print more money, bro. Basically. And if you think about partially why that's happening is the government is subsidizing lower taxes on corporations. So if a corporation has low interest expense, they're not paying a lot of interest, and they have low tax expense, that inflates corporate profits. What's another reason that the rich are getting rich? Global labor. One of the biggest expenses of any corporation is labor. Okay, you got to pay employees. If you're a corporation that is labor light, or you have a global pool to pull from, a global workforce to pull from, you can reduce your labor expense, which increases corporate profits. Think about if you could hire somebody from India to, do work that you would normally hire somebody in the United States to do. It would be way cheaper. Of course, and that would result in higher corporate profits. So you got lower wage expense, and I'm sure I'm missing more stuff. You got lower tax expense, which is basically subsidized by the government. And then you got lower interest expense. So you combine some of those factors together, and corporations have been growing their profits and making so much freaking money. And the average worker has had basically they've had real wage growth, but it hasn't even come close to the growth of corporate profits. And it makes total sense, okay? So when you combine that all together, yeah, stocks have been going up massively. I mean, U.S. stocks, bro, have exploded over the last 15 years. And if you own those stocks, guess what? You've benefited. Now, going into the future, I don't know what's going to happen, okay? I mean, maybe the American people will stop, taking the shaft from, I think, a government that's focused on corporate profits more than anything else. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But if you see how the rich get rich, you can, follow their example, okay? And you follow their example by having the vast majority of your net worth in stock. And in my opinion, it should be total world stock, but you guys are geniuses, of course. That's my personal opinion. You should own companies or start a business, okay? That's all it is, because the current environment benefits corporations 110%. Low interest, low wage expense, low tax. All that is beneficial to corporate profits. Talk to you later.